Take to heart the 4 tips that I outlined for you in this video, and you will learn how to create a very strong foundation of safety and security within yourself. And while yes, it is completely normal and okay to have external sources of safety and security, we want to minimize our dependence on those external sources so that we're not constantly wavering and in fear that they might go away, and create this very strong foundation within us already, so no matter what happens externally, we will be okay. Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Justin, and on this channel, I'm dedicated to bringing you the highest quality content when it comes to healing, self-transformation, and expansion. And with that said, let's get right into the 4 tips on how to feel safe and secure within yourself. The first tip I have for you guys is to be curious. Be curious about the source of lack of security and safety within you. Where is that coming from? Where are these feelings of feeling unsafe and insecure in yourself coming from? We must understand this. And yes, that means that we must be willing to look within. We must be willing to look at our past. We must be willing to look at the emotional pain and the wounds that we're holding on to inside. We're so used to running away from it and hiding from it, but I'm asking you to not only be with what's inside, but lean into it. And it doesn't have to be the scary thing, but we can put on our detective hats and really be curious, genuinely curious about what's going on in there, and maybe even a little excited, because knowing that once we can figure it out, we can start cultivating this really strong foundation of safety and security. If we don't know what's keeping us from feeling safe and secure inside, then we will spend our whole life just addressing the symptoms and not really getting to the root of the issue. And then our life becomes about relying externally on safety and security. And again, while that's not a huge problem if it's minimized to just small and trusted sources, if we're putting our whole dependence on the external world, then that becomes a problem, and that actually in itself becomes unsafe. The irony is that we're actually tricked into thinking that it's more safe to not look inwards, to not look at our pain and our wounds, when in fact the opposite is true. And when we continue to believe that it's unsafe to look within, that actually starts becoming the source of our mistrust within ourselves. And when that becomes the source of our mistrust, that will continue to unconsciously run our life from the shadows. Sit down with yourself or with a coach or a therapist or whoever you need and explore inwards. For me, one of the most effective tools was journaling. And so what I would do is start with a question like, what is the source of my lack of safety and security within myself? And then I would kind of turn off my brain and just let my fingers type. Whatever came out, came out. I wouldn't judge it. I wouldn't have an opinion about it. And what I found is that most of the time it was very accurate stuff. It was stuff that needed to come out. It was stuff from my past that I hadn't really thought about. It was limiting beliefs that I didn't really know I had. And so it was really effective. So I would recommend that as a tool for you, is to just start journaling or typing by asking yourself a question and just seeing what comes out. Now, once you're clear about your source of insecurity, I'll tell you exactly what to do about it in the next step. Okay, so we found the source of our feelings of lack of safety and security, or at least we have a general idea. It's an ongoing process. Now, what I want you to do with it is meet your pain with love. What I mean by this is, once we've found the source of our insecurity and feelings of unsafety, usually what happens is our default reaction is to judge it or treat it harshly or be angry at it or pissed off or just be super negative because of how much pain it has caused us. What I'm asking you to do is resist this urge, let go of that urge, and meet your pain with love. You must come at it from a loving place. Now, what's going to help you to do this is imagine that the pain, the hurt, is this wounded child. I talk about this a lot. Imagine it's just a hurt child. It's an abandoned child. And of course, in real life, if you found an abandoned child, you would not judge it. You would not be angry at it. You wouldn't, kick it or be harsh. What you would do, you'd bring it in and you'd give it love and you'd give it attention and you'd give it whatever it needed to heal. Nurse and nurture this child until it's reached its full health. This is how I want you to go about all the pain, all the sources of insecurity and lack of safety. Don't be harsh on yourself. Don't judge yourself, but come at it from a loving place. Come at it from a place where you want to heal. And you can feel the difference. If you really do this work, you can feel the difference between criticizing yourself and meeting your pain with love. Because when you meet your pain with love, you become overcome with a sense of healing. You can breathe and you can slow down and you feel safe as a result. This work is twofold because not only are you healing, you're actually healing the wounds and the sources of insecurity, but as you're doing this work, you create a sense of safety and well-being in yourself because you're treating yourself with love. You're treating your wounds and your past with love. And in fact, that is the only way you can heal. You can't be angry at your pain. That will only deepen the wounds and the cuts. So there really is no other way to heal but to come at it from a place of love and understanding and nurturing. When you're nursing your wounds, some will take more time, and that's okay. You just have to be patient. Others will be kind of like a one and done. So just be patient with yourself and keep this child, this wounded child, these wounds at the top of mind every day, and do your best every single day to give it love, to meet it with love until it's reached this place where it's okay by itself and it's nursed back to full health. Guys, if you're liking this video so far, please take 2 seconds to support me and my channel by giving this video a thumbs up and hitting the subscribe button. Thank you so much, and let's move on to tip number 3. The third tip is to let go of the enemy. Now, if we're used to constantly living in survival and constantly feeling unsafe in our bodies, then what you will notice is that your mind is constantly looking for an enemy. It's constantly scanning for threats. I remember in my own healing journey having an epiphany about this is, why is my mind always looking for an enemy? My mind is always on alert. It's always looking for ways to make sure I'm safe. And what I found is that if there really is no enemy, which 99% of the time there isn't, then my mind will make one up. And so this actually becomes a catch-22, because if your mind keeps looking for enemies to keep you safe from, it tricks you into thinking that it's being safe, when in reality, the act of searching for enemies and being on alert is actually what's keeping you in mistrust and insecurity. So in the same way that it's a trick to think that it's unsafe to look within, it's also a trick for your mind to also always be scanning for enemies, because both of those things are what's keeping us in mistrust, keeping us in feelings of unsafety, keeping us in feelings of insecurity. Now, what we did in the previous tip was treat our emotional wounds. What we're doing in this tip is treating our mind, because our mind also needs love. We're teaching our mind what it feels like to be healed and safe, so it doesn't have to constantly look for an enemy, because again, we don't want to judge our mind or be harsh to our mind, because it's trying to keep us safe, and it's thinking that it is keeping us safe when in reality it's not. So we can also meet our mind with love. So how you can go about doing this is, the next time you catch your mind searching for an enemy, let go of that need to find an enemy. You can tell your mind that it's safe to let go. It's safe to not need to find an enemy. Tell your mind that you are no longer playing this vicious cycle of staying in survival mode. You are choosing to feel safe and secure within yourself. It's safe to stop searching for threats. And if there ever was a real, genuine emergency or threat, then you would know, of course. Keep telling your mind this until your mind gradually changes and it stops letting go of the need to always find an enemy. Okay, my last tip for you guys is to cultivate a sense of security. Now, I placed this tip last because you have to do the first 3 tips to be able to do this. So once you've investigated the source of your insecurity and unsafety, and you've met your inner wounds with love, and you've let go of the enemy that your mind is constantly searching for, now you have created the optimal environment for you to start creating safety and security within yourself. Now, the first thing that you want to do to start cultivating this nice and safe inner environment is you want to start taking slow belly breaths, and you want to incorporate this throughout your day, throughout your life as much as possible, really, because what happens is when we take really slow, deep belly breaths, we're actually signaling to our bodies that we're safe and we're okay, as opposed to when we're in survival mode, we take really shallow breaths that maybe only reach down to our chest, and our breathing is unusual and rapid, and that is what signals our body to be more in survival mode. So the more you can teach your body to take slow belly breaths, the more of a safer environment you're creating for yourself. Another pro tip here, while we're talking about breaths, is if you're having intrusive thoughts, you never want to fight those thoughts. So if you're having thoughts that are making you feel unsafe and making you feel insecure, you cannot fight your thoughts with other thoughts. That will only lead to a downward spiral. But when you instead let go of trying to fight with thoughts and start breathing, that's what lets go and evaporates those negative thoughts, because you are again just signaling to your whole system that it's safe. So don't fight thoughts with thoughts, breathe through your thoughts. So now that we've done our breathing and we've slowed down, we've calmed down, we've slowed our nervous system down, what you want to do is start feeling into your body and start feeling, you can literally feel on your body where it feels really soothing for you to place your hand. For me, that's right here on my chest. I just feel really safe and soothed when I have a hand on my chest here. For you, it might be on your shoulder, or it might be just holding your hands or whatever. But be curious, find out where on your body it feels really soothing and safe to place your hands. Now, once you've found this place on your body, you can either hold it or you can do little circles, whatever feels really good. This is really your practice, and you can continue to breathe. And while you're breathing, you can start cultivating what it feels like to feel safe and secure in your body. Now, if this is a new feeling for you, which it was for me and a lot of people, then use your imagination or draw upon some time in your past where you felt really safe and secure. We just really want to hone in on that feeling so we can introduce that feeling to our body, so we can understand what the feeling really feels like. So either use your imagination or draw upon some time in the past where you can really start cultivating the feeling. And the feeling is the key. We want to feel this emotion of safety and peace and security and trust, and just keep breathing through that. Breathe while you cultivate and you're holding wherever feels good on your body. Now, once you're starting to feel glimpses of this feeling of safety and security, I want you to really hone in on it, really lean into it, and see if you can just kind of turn up the dial on this feeling. See if you can double it or triple it, and imagine it just kind of taking over your whole body, just radiating from within and taking over your whole body. It's okay if it's kind of a weak feeling at first, because again, if this is new, it's going to take some time to build up. But with practice, you can make this feeling stronger and stronger each time until eventually it becomes your default mode, or at the very least, very easy to access, because you've really taught your body what it feels like to feel safe. Now, the important thing with these tips that I've shared with you is make all these a practice. In an ideal world, we would move from one tip to another, but usually it's going to be pretty messy, and we're going to have to go back to different tips and back and forth, and there'll be ups and downs. But just keep these tips on you, remember them, practice them every single day. And I guarantee you, if you do this and you take this to heart, you will start feeling really safe and secure in your body. And just like I said before, we want to make that feeling of safety and security, we want to make that our default mode, or at the very least, easy to access. And the more we introduce these healings, the more we let go of the enemy, the more we're curious about our source of insecurity and unsafety, the more opportunity we have to create a really nice, safe, and secure inner environment and foundation for ourselves. So that way we can go about life not being in survival mode, but reaching other states, other higher states than just needing safety and security. I hope you enjoyed this video and it brought you some serious value. If you did like this video, then I'm sure you're gonna love this next video that's coming up over here. So make sure to click on this and keep watching some more videos. Thank you again, and I'll see you in the next one.